Selling a rental property when the tenants are on a lease. Can you do it or not? This is a question I get asked all the time, and the answer is yes. You just have to understand that tenants do have the right to finish their lease. Let me explain. My name's Daniel Hale. I'm a licensed real estate agent, and I have helped hundreds of landlords with their investment properties, and I help them make better landlord decisions. So make sure you subscribe to this channel if you want to become a better landlord. Now, you're selling your rental property with tenants on a lease right now. Tenants do have a little bit more rights in this case. If the tenants have a fixed term lease, that means they have the right to finish the lease. If the tenants are on a month-to-month lease, that opens up more options for you as the seller, and it allows you to sell it to a larger buyer pool. You have two types of buyers that you're looking at when you're selling your rental property. You have the investor that's looking to purchase the property, leave it rented, and collect that rental income. And then you have the buyer, somebody that's looking to purchase the property and move in for their own personal use. Which means that if the tenant is on a fixed term lease, you cannot sell the property to somebody that's looking to move in until that lease term is up. Now, if it's an investor that's looking to purchase the property, he must assume the tenants. You are not allowed to evict those tenants. They have the right to finish their lease. So this opens up questions for you about your property and if this can be done. So it's very important for you and your real estate agent to understand the type of buyer that you are targeting so that you know how to approach the situation correctly to avoid any legal issues and avoid you as the landlord from getting sued. But since your tenant is on a fixed term lease, that's all we're gonna talk about right now and go over those scenarios. Which means that you are targeting an investor to purchase your property, and there are a few things that that investor is going to look at. Most importantly, is that tenant paying market rent or are they below market rent? How is that tenant currently living? Is the property clean? Do they look like good tenants, or is it an absolute mess? And lastly, the big question that you are gonna get asked, is the tenant paying rent and are they paying rent on time? Now, if the answer is yes to all those questions, you are at market rent, the tenant's paying on time, the property is clean, you're in a lot better position to sell that property to an investor. Now, an investor might still buy it if those answers are no. However, it's not ideal for you because they're gonna offer you a lot less money than what your property is actually worth. And let's be honest, we don't invest in properties as landlords to sell it for less. We invest in properties as landlords to maximize our investment and get as much money out of it as we possibly can. So each scenario can be different. If the answers are no, you have a bad tenant, they're messy, they're not paying rent, you can approach this by trying to get them to sign an N11, which is a notice to end the tenancy. Now, it's not going to be easy. There are strategies to get this done, and cash for keys is one of them. If you can do a cash for keys scenario, get that tenant to move out and leave, or even if they sign an N11 and a cash for keys agreement, which I've done many times, you can then sell it with them still in the property, and now you can open up your buyer pool to somebody that's looking to purchase it to move into that property. And now the other thing that I want to mention is it also depends on the type of property. It's super, super important for you guys to understand who your buyer is and who's gonna come and look at this property. Is it a single family property with multiple bedrooms and only one door, meaning one unit, like a townhouse or a condo or a detached home with 3 bedrooms? If this is the case, your buyer pool is more than likely gonna be somebody looking to purchase it for their own personal use and move in. So you're gonna wanna approach that tenant, try to get them to sign an N11 or go with another scenario. If it is a duplex, something with multiple units, then your ideal target is going to be investors. You're in a lot better scenario in this case. You have a lot more options because you know investors are gonna buy it for the income and multiple units, but you wanna try to have your rent at market value. Now, it's also important for you to understand how much longer is that fixed term lease. If it's another 4 months, if it's another 5 months, you still can open up that buyer pool to somebody that's looking to purchase the property and move in. What you're gonna do is you're gonna put that property on the market and you're gonna tell that buyer who brings you the right offer that's looking to purchase the property and move in that you need 90 to 120 days to close on that property. Or you can tell them the exact closing date of which the tenant is moving out. Always do it a few days after the tenant's moving out so you can verify that they are gone. And you're also going to want to make sure that you have the appropriate conditions and clauses in the agreement of purchase and sale for in the event that that tenant does not move out on closing date, you don't get sued. You must also give that tenant an N12 notice for the purchaser to move into the property, which gives them 60 days to vacate the property, and it has to be given to them from the time that they pay rent. So if they pay rent on the first of the month, it needs to be given the day before the first so that the tenants have the appropriate notice. Because if you don't serve these legal notices appropriately, they become null and void and they get thrown out the window. You get yourself in trouble and you don't get that vacant possession for your buyer. Now, if you're a landlord looking to sell your rental property, just give me a call, shoot me an email, or send me a text. I've helped tons and tons of landlords successfully do this and sell for top dollar. I'll see you guys in the next video.